All right, so ladies and gentlemen, what we're gonna work on in this tutorial is figuring out how can we make a box, something like this, in a really strong way using these joints. Okay? There's a few different versions, okay? But the key to this is by using joints, right, we can take these two-dimensional pieces and combine them into something that is super strong and sturdy. Now you could manually design um, these features, these interlocking finger joints. Okay? You can, totally, but why not use what's available? This website, makercase.com, automatically builds simple boxes, which is a great place to start. And it will build them to the size, like the dimensions that you want, and it will do different styles of joints. We are going to start out with just the basic box. So you want to go to makercase.com, right? You're going to get to this screen and you want to choose on basic box. Now, the requirements for this module is to make a box that is 4 inches tall. So I'm going to change that, make that 4, width 3 inches wide, and then depth also 3 inches. So it's a rectangle. Okay? And you should see that like responding right there in front of you. Okay, you can take that 3D model and you can move it around. Okay? So we're going to use this program to build the basics, and then we're going to take this file and bring it in Tinkercad to finish it up. Now, once you have the dimensions, the overall dimensions of the box, there's a few other features. The most important feature is that the material thickness, aka like if you're going to take a sheet of wood, a piece of wood, how thick is that material? Now we generally use 1/8 inch material in the makerspace, but you always want to confirm that, right? So 1/8 inch, there we go. Is this going to be open or closed? Now this is for the Glowbox. So the Glowbox, we're going to take upside down, we're going to set over a light source. So we're going to actually say that this is open, and you'll see how it automatically changes that design, getting rid of the top. And that means we don't have unnecessary joint slots added in. Right? Lastly, we're going to pick what type of joint we want. Now, flat joints, right? So if I click flat, there's T slot. Okay. Flat, sorry, finger, right? And it's actually not letting me do flat because I was messing around with it before. So I'm going to click finger joints. That's really what we want, right? And you can see it automatically changes the shape of the different features in 3 dimensions so that they interlock together. But what you can change is how big those finger joints are, right? And so as you move this bar, right, the smaller they are, the more that you can put in there. So the question becomes how many? Now, the more joints you have, the stronger your box is going to be. But it also means the more joints that you have, the longer the laser cut is going to take and the thinner these pieces are going to get. So like right there, you can see this tiny little finger. That's going to be really thin, right? And the danger with thin pieces is that they more easily break and snap off. Now, we could go maximum size, right? And that would work, but to be honest, you would get a very weak and imprecise box. Like it really wouldn't fit that well together. So you want to kind of hit the middle ground. I'm going to go with that, right? That's a good distribution. I've got 3 or 4 notches on each corner. That to me is going to be a really strong design right there. Once you've established, right, your settings and the number of joints that we're going to have, then you can go ahead and hit download box plans. So this is what it's going to actually create. And again, you have a few options. Now, they are automatically putting in labels. We don't want that when we send this to Tinkercad. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say disabled. Okay. And We don't care about the label colors because they're gone. Do we want them to be separate? Yes, definitely. We need there to be space in between them. Okay. Next, line formatting. Okay. Line cut width 0.01, that's fine. If we were going to actually send this to Adobe Illustrator, we would change that to 0.01. So I'll do that. It doesn't hurt. And then inside versus outside cut. That line, I mean, the colors don't really matter. If we wanted to, we could just do black. Did that work? No, it didn't work. Yeah, that's not a huge deal because we're doing such a simple design. And kerf and corner compensation. So this is where we can decide like how much space do we leave where the joints interact with each other, if that makes sense. And you can just leave that where it's at. Right, so now this is the file that we need to export, and we're going to export that as a SVG. So go ahead and say download, and I'm going to name this test box, and I'm going to save it actually on my desktop so it's easy to find. So I'm going to say save. Okay, now I'm going to go to Tinkercad. And I'm going to log in. Oh, not join, sorry, my bad. Sign in with Google. It's my school account. Okay, and I'm doing a 3D design. I want a new 3D design, so I'm going to create new. Okay, and I'm going to go, yeah, I'm going to go to import, and I can say choose a file. I can also, I think because I have it here, I can just drag it. And center on artboard scale, that's fine, go ahead. And give it a second. Okay, and there it is. Now, when this thing imported, it did so in a very messed up scale. And the reason for that is it took it in and it said 4. It just knows the number is 4. And that's because our grid is in millimeters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change that to inches. I'm going to say update grid. I'm actually going to go ahead. I'm going to delete that design. I'm going to re-import. Import that in. Nope, it doesn't like that. All right, so it's just going to keep it. That just means that I need to size this up. And so I can resize and let's see. The key is that I am making this like scale uniformly. So I can't just move one. I got to move them all, and I have to move them equally in both dimensions, the X and the Y. So here's what I'll do. I know that I want each of these pieces to be 3 inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold Control, and I'm going to hold Shift, and I'm going to scale it until I see one of the pieces so I'm watching this left piece get to 3 inches across. Right, let's zoom in. Say I need to go a little bit more. Okay, so what I've done, right, I'm watching this corner, right, this piece, and it should be 3 inches across in this direction. And I'm going to rescale, get that side. Okay, I need to change my snap grid to 164. Pretty darn close. Well, let me check the other corner. Okay, and let's say No. All right, so that's close enough. Now, of course, I am laser cutting. I'm not 3D printing this, so I can shrink this down. Ooh, wrong one. I'm going to click that and point 1, 2, 0. That's 1/8 of an inch. I think so. All right, so that's what my box will actually look like. Now, right, I have my box design in here, and it doesn't matter that it doesn't fit on like the blue, the board there, right? Now I can go ahead and I can start putting designs into the different pieces. And when I'm all done, I'm going to take this whole thing and I'm going to export it as an SVG so I can send it to the laser. All right, make it happen.